live on here. Go live on here. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. All right, we are in business. All right, so hold on, let me just check it out on my phone to see how it looks. Oh, it says I'm on one account and then showing me another. It's not showing me the live though. Hold on, let me do this right quick.
You
I
good?
just want to see if I can see the live. It's not showing me that I'm live though. Do I have to be on my account? Because it says I'm live. Yeah, it says I'm live. It says we're live here. Let's do that right there. Let's do. All right. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is this right here. Move that. All right, man. So I guess let's get into it. I'll stop dilly-dallying. What is going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good, Amika. Appreciate you having me. Very happy, very excited, very privileged to be here. So I appreciate you for having me out here, man.
Of course.
You taking time out of your day to interview me, man. So it means a lot.
Yeah, I've been, I mean, you and I have talked. I've been wanting to kind of, create more of an online presence, and so I thought, you know what, I can't start if I don't start, right?
Yeah, you got somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right, I got some gear. I got, something I could set up with. I had a much better setup. I had it where I could use my new mouse, my two screens that I have at home here. It didn't work out that way. So, but I got my mic and I got my headphones and everything else. But anyway, we're live on Instagram right now using StreamYard. What's going on, everybody? How are we doing? Yeah, this shows. Instagram. Oh yeah. So anyway, So today we got Ivan. Or hold on, let me backtrack a little bit. So what's going on, everybody? My name's Mika Nikwo. I am the writer and creator of Vibrant. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see it with the filter on, but yeah. No luck. Anyways, if you're on this page, I'm sure you'll see the posts that I have up there and links and all that. Anyways, I'm taking some time today to go ahead and try and start off with an interview. And today we are interviewing Ivan, and I'll let you introduce yourself, but I thought it'd be a good time to interview you since you just launched your Kickstarter, right? And if I'm not mistaken, your first one.
Yes, sir. Launched it yesterday, man.
And this is your first one too, right?
My first one, first ever project ever.
That is awesome. I myself actually just launched my first ever Kickstarter this year too. So enough about me. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll get into some questions. And yeah.
What's going on, guys? My name is Ivan. I was born and raised in the Bay Area. I'm an upcoming indie comic book writer who will be making Ghost Reaper. He's a supernatural vigilante character, you could say, anti-hero, who is basically having an identity crisis, is in a very desperate time in his life, and basically sells his soul to the devil, not really knowing what he kind of got himself into. So that's kind of like the basic premise of the story.
Okay, all right, I like that. So you would say what, horror genre?
It's a combination of different things. Yeah, I would say horror, okay. Superhero fantasy, and noir.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So let's start off with what led you to creating this or a comic in general?
So I've always wanted to make a comic ever since I was in high school. The first time I ever thought about it was in 9th grade. I was 14 at the time. I remember too, because I drew a little picture of what the mask could potentially look like. And at that time, it was going to be called the Guardian Saint. So ever since then, it kind of always crossed my mind, but I didn't really pull the trigger on anything until COVID started, because I thought if there was ever going to be a time to start, what better time than COVID, because you can't really do anything anyway. So you're stuck at home, so might as well do something while you're doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
yeah.
totally get that. Okay. Anything that inspired you to create this story?
When I first started, Batman was, I would say, the primary inspiration. But when I first started as the Guardian Saint, there wasn't that charisma, there wasn't that sauce that made it special, that made it unique. You know what I'm saying? And it took me a long time to realize that. I knew that if I was gonna have to make it stand out, I had to do like a re-image, like a rebranding of it, basically. Especially the route that I wanted to go. I wanted it to be very dark, very gritty, and I just knew that Saint, and just the name alone, Saint, it sounds too bright, too optimistic. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to go that route. I wanted to make sure that it was like dark, menacing, brooding, stuff like that. So it started off as the Saint, inspired by Batman, but then I got other inspiration from other characters, such as Moon Knight, Spawn, the Phantom, and Ghost Rider. I would say are the four, the Mount Rushmore of my inspiration of how Ghost Reaper came into what it is today.
Phantom, that's a good one. I feel like not many people really follow that.
Very underrated character. Yeah, he was, I would say, one of the pioneer superheroes even before Batman. So
actually, I was just at the local comic book shop today, and it looks like they're bringing it back. It looks like there's a new story. I didn't actually pay attention to who's writing it, the art, but looks like there's a new Phantom comic book right now.
A lot of potential. I think, the Phantom is a very underrated character. I think he's actually what gave Batman his part of his inspiration, along with the Shadow. He was the first, I think, superhero too with his underground base. I think it was called the Skull Cave. So that's where he got. I think that's where Batman.
Okay.
Yeah. So and he has a good ass look too. So
he has a what was that? Sorry.
Oh no, he has a really dope look too. If you see my character Ghost Reaper, you could kind of tell that I actually got a little piece of each character that I named previously. Right now, the 4 characters, you could kind of see a little bit of each character in Ghost Reaper. Everything from the look, the color, everything. Mm-hmm.
All right, that's awesome. So can you go a little bit more into depth? I know what I should do too. Can you go a little bit more into depth without spoiling, of course, what your comic book is about? I'm gonna get your Kickstarter up too, so we can share that.
I appreciate you, man. Let me know when you're ready, so I can start explaining it a little bit.
Yeah. Go ahead and start explaining. I'll pull it up once. I'll pull it up when you're done.
All right. So it's basically about this kid who's an orphan. He's in a very chaotic city called Phantom City. That's gonna be like my Gotham City, my fictional city. And it's not a friendly place by any means. It's polluted with crime and a lot of corruption. And basically, it's not so easy to leave the city. So what he's trying to do is basically leave by any means necessary. He resorts to desperate measures in order to do that. And along the way, he gets caught in some shit and some deep stuff with the bad guys. And that's kind of where everything kind of takes off. He basically steals some things that belong to a very powerful person. And from there, he wants what he stole back. And that's kind of where everything basically starts. He's like, basically all it starts is just from a kid who's just trying to leave Phantom City. And then he gets caught in a hole too deep. Next thing you know, he's basically in a hole that he can't dig himself out of. So it's like a very tricky situation for him.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm going through now, and for whatever reason, it's saying that it is not live on Instagram, even though it's showing that it is somehow. Okay. I guess, anyways, we could probably keep going if I think these
man. So
after. But sorry, go ahead.
I was going to recap what I said. So it's basically, long story short, it's about a kid who's an orphan who's trying to find his way out of Phantom City, and he basically resorts to crime. And when he does that, he steals something that's very important that belongs to a very famous mafia person or gangster. And from there, that's when he gets caught in some deep stuff. But the thing that he steals ends up being something that's very valuable and something that actually has a secret power to it. And that's kind of where everything starts to unravel. And that's where he kind of starts encountering different things and gets his back against the wall, and you know, it's like a very complicated situation for him. I always say that this story too isn't a stereotypical story where like it's not about a person who's destined from birth. He's not yearning for revenge. He's not bitten by a spider. Not it's like this dude who's very desperate and doing everything he can to basically get what he wants. And basically the moral of the story is, was it all worth it? Like everything that he does at the very end, I got what I wanted, but at exchange of this, was it really all worth it? That's kind of the question that you have to answer for yourself. So I try to leave it up to the readers at the end. Once the whole story arc finishes, that's the message I'm trying to pull. Was it worth it? Was everything worth it? Selling your soul in exchange for what you want, and then the consequences that come along with that.
Okay, that sounds dope. All right. So what I want to do before we actually go to the Kickstarter, I'm thinking maybe you can. And all right, it actually is now showing us as live on Instagram.
Cool.
So my dumb self, I know, yeah, my dumb self had to re-click go live. I had clicked it before, and I guess it didn't go through the first time. So I'm like, wait, they can see us. But anyways, all right. Hey everyone, how's it going? We'll just do a reintroduction real quick. We're live on Instagram right now. My name is Mika Nikuo. I am the writer and creator of Vibrant, the Instagram that you're following or watching this live on. And I just thought I'd do a bit of get some new, entertainment out for you guys. Not just push the comic, but also push myself out there, kind of show you guys who I am. Not that there's much to look at, but today we're starting with an interview, and we're interviewing the dope and awesome Ivan. Am I pronouncing this Leal?
Yeah, that's how you say it. I appreciate it, man. You're the first one to ever pronounce it right on the first go.
I try. I mean, Mika isn't my full first name. So I pride myself in making sure I actually pronounce people's names right.
I appreciate it.
Because my name isn't very easy to pronounce. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and I'll let you reintroduce yourself. And if you don't mind, depending on how much this is caught, we can probably just do a quick little brief synopsis of everything that you just basically said about your story.
What's up, guys? My name is Ivan.
So
I'm an upcoming. Oh, my fault. I think the timing on here is a little bit off. Sometimes when you speak and then I speak.
Yeah, it's a little laggy. Yeah.
All right, I'll start. What's going on, guys? My name is Ivan. I'm an upcoming indie comic book writer who will be making Ghost Reaper. He's a supernatural vigilante anti-hero is the best way I'll probably describe it, who is basically, it revolves around this kid who's an orphan, who's very desperate to leave a very dangerous, notorious phantom city. That's going to be my fictional Gotham City of this world. And it's corrupted with very much a lot of crime, a lot of bad people, and he's doing everything he can to basically leave the city, but it's not so easy. He is basically trying to find the funds to be able to support him leaving the city, and along the way, he gets caught in a very deep mess. He steals a very important artifact that belongs to a very notorious gangster, and then from there, that's kind of where everything starts off. And he discovers that this little artifact has a little some in it that he unleashes, and from there, he basically has to make a deal with the devil to see his way through, basically. So it's a very interesting story. The moral of the story I'm trying to make is, by the end of everything, once everything is said and done with this story arc, I want to ask, basically the moral of the story is, was it all worth it? Was it worth selling your soul in order to achieve what you want at the consequence of this, and this? Was it all worth it? So that's basically, and I'm going to leave that up to the readers. That's really what I'm trying to was summarized by the end of everything.
All right. Okay. I think that's really cool. Welcome, everyone. We've got some people joining on Instagram Live. We got Broken Reality Comics, the Royal Mojo, Dreadnought was in here, it looked like. So thank you again for summarizing that for us. I was thinking, before we kind of jump onto your Kickstarter page, because it will kind of require me. What's going on, Samuel Comics 24? How you doing? We're just interviewing the great Ivan Leal, because he just launched his Kickstarter yesterday, right?
Yeah, yesterday.
Ghost Reaper, issue 1. So we're just doing a quick little interview, and not quick, but we're doing a little interview and going over his comic book. So I actually have some of these pictures here that you provided, and I was just kind of thinking we can maybe go through them. And you can give us a little description or explanation as to what it is we're looking at.
Yes, of course.
All right, let's start with this one here. I think this one looks dope.
Yes, that one is the fan favorite from what it looks like. I converted to a poster a couple days ago. That one is that one's the banger. That one's the eye candy, I would probably say. So it's basically us overlooking Ghost Reaper. It's almost like if we're at the ground, just got our butts whooped by him, and he's basically overlooking us, and we're looking at him up in the sky. One cool thing about this suit too, like I said previously, if my 4 inspiring characters that made this character was Spawn, Moon Knight, the Phantom, and Ghost Rider. And if you kind of like really observe the suit, you kind of see a combination of each character in this superhero. You kind of see a little bit of Moon Knight, a little bit of Spawn, a little bit of the Phantom with the purple, and Ghost Rider. One thing I really like about this suit too is the color purple, just because it's something you don't see a lot in superheroes. I thought it was like a very unique color, something to kind of make them stand out. Another thing too, the logo, I don't know if you can really tell. I said this in one of my YouTube videos, but the logo is actually an hourglass. If you look inside the little 2 circles, the vertical circles that are on top of each other, it's actually in the shape of an hourglass. That's something that correlates with the Grim Reaper. So I thought that was pretty cool. A lot of people think it's kind of like just 2 like birds against each other, but not. It actually combines to our hourglass if you look at the center of the chest.
Okay.
And then the mask, I didn't want just like a simple mask. Fun fact, I actually wanted to keep a piece of the homage from the Guardian Saint, which he had a cross on his chest. I wanted to keep that piece of him, so I put it on his mask, which I actually thought goes hand in hand, because I think like when it comes to religion, Christianity, and even like the Grim Reaper, things that are supernatural, it all kind of just goes hand in hand together. So it kind of complemented the character. And yeah, man, I think it's a very cool look, very menacing, badass look. And I was very happy and content when I saw the final product come out. So I'm really happy with how it looks.
Oh, that's good to hear, because we got somebody here, we got Dreadnought 15 saying it's tough, and then also saying that the chest symbol is very Spawn reminiscent.
Yeah, Spawn was a huge inspiration for sure. Spawn, Moon Knight, those guys were huge on inspiring Ghost Reaper for sure.
Well, that's awesome. Just trying to play a little here. Okay, cool. All right, so let's do this here. Let's go on to the next one. What can you tell us about this guy? This guy right here.
The big bad. So this is Moloch. Moloch is going to be the fictional Grim Reaper of this universe. I don't know if you guys are into anime, but if you've seen Death Note, it's going to be that relationship between Light Yagami and Ryuk. That's going to be very inspired with Scott and Moloch, where Moloch is basically not human. He's just a spirit that doesn't have any emotions. So he's not going to feel anything, no sympathy, no compassion for anybody, while Scott is going to be basically battling his own morality and bumping heads with Moloch along the way, because at the end of the day, he is still human and he still sees right from wrong. And they both kind of have different agendas, but they make some kind of mutual agreement in the beginning in order to start the story off. So I think this is going to be a very conflicting view of perception and ideology between the two.
Okay. I'm starting to see more of that Moon Knight inspiration.
And Khonshu as well.
Khonshu.
Exactly. Yeah. Kind of Malboja and Al Simmons too, because he's like it's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. That is awesome. So I'm also just now realizing this is my first interview here. So the layout, the way that this looks like on Instagram is pretty small and tiny. So hopefully those who are watching see the detail in this, because this stuff is really dope.
Appreciate it, man.
And unfortunately, I cannot change it live. So all right, let's go on to this one here. This is the same character as the first one, but yeah, just what can you give us a little bit about this?
This was the first final look of Ghost Reaper in the concept art. There are going to be some things that are going to be a little bit tweaked. The symbol in this one, you can't really tell that's an hourglass because it's not symmetrical. That's why in the first one, if you see the circles are perfect, so you're able to identify it and distinguish it as an hourglass. But yeah, this is still pretty much the same thing. This was like I said, the final look of Ghost Reaper. The eyes on the belt buckle and the shoulder plates are going to be lighting up red, which I thought was like a cool little add-on. But other than that, everything else is pretty much going to be looking the same. So this is also a good shot of Ghost Reaper, and this is how he's going to look in the comic book itself. This art was done by Gabriel, and the colorist, his name is Johan. So they're both very talented artists, and they did this character justice for sure. I love this character.
Hey, what's going on, Kendrick Markle? Looks like Dreadnought 15 just said looks lightning based. Does he have a subset of gifted powers? Is that something that you can answer?
Can you say that one more time? Sorry, you cut off a little bit, bro.
He said Dreadnought 15. Sorry, I'm not meaning to assume, but Dreadnought 15 here is saying or asking, or says, and then has a question. Looks lightning based. Does he have a subset of gifted powers?
Yes. So he will have a certain amount of capabilities and gifts that come along with the mantle of Ghost Reaper.
Ooh, okay. Hopefully that.
So his power is supernatural. It's not like Iron Man where he gets the power from technology. Like he actually manifests his power physically from the suit. Supernatural.
All right. Hopefully that answered your question, Dreadnought. Thank you for the interaction. Love the questions. Keep them coming. All right. On to the next one here. What can you tell us about this one? And if I'm not mistaken, or I am not mistaken because I ordered this myself on your Kickstarter, this right here. If it'll load. Here we go.
Oh man, the B cover. I call it the ghost cover. That one's sick. So this is gonna be Ghost Reaper. So one thing about superheroes, if you notice, Spider-Man always has like a prototype suit before he gets his primary suit. Same thing with Batman. There's a lot of superheroes that kind of have like a prototype suit before they have their primary suit. And I wanted to do the same thing with Ghost Reaper. So this one, as you could tell, the great thing I like about this look, it's very simplistic, but it's still very badass. And it's something that you could actually literally buy at the store because all he has is a purple hoodie, a black leather trench coat, military cargo pants, and military boots with knee pads. That's like something you could all get at the store, and leather black gloves. So I love the look of the prototype suit because, like I said, it's very simplistic. It's very badass, and it's literally something you can make at home. Like it's not even something you have to really design. Something you could literally just buy at the store. So I really like the look, very badass, and I think it's a good prototype suit before he gets his primary suit.
Awesome. What's going on, Chris? Welcome in. Just a quick little thing for everybody coming in. I am the writer and creator of Vibrant, interviewing Ivan Leal, who is the writer and creator of Ghost Reaper, and his Kickstarter is now live. So we're just going over some, looks like Mason Soul Limit.
Mr. Solomon. Yeah,
Solomon. Mason. Oh, okay. My bad.
He's my publisher.
Oh, no. Yeah, he just joined and then commented saying homies. And then also looks like Dreadnought 15 has another question.
Yes.
Gauntlets kind of look like my guys. What's their purpose?
What's their purpose? The character's purpose?
The gauntlets, it looks like. What are the purpose of the gauntlets?
So I don't want to spoil. Well, I want to say, but I don't want to spoil too much.
No, don't spoil. Give us maybe like if you can kind of.
It helps with
ride the line.
It helps with his transportation. I'll just leave it that way. The gauntlets.
Okay, perfect. I think that's okay. Great.
That's as much as I'll
Great. I like that. Okay. Great. So I think we're and then you know what? I'll just give you here. Unfortunately, it won't let me add more pictures, and you had a couple more that you sent me, but I will show the back of this.
Yes.
And I know this is so. This cover right here, what the picture we just looked at in this picture here is a full wrap of the comic, correct?
Yes.
Full wrap cover. Awesome.
Fun fact about this cover too. Anybody that reads Invincible, there's a special cover called the Library Edition. That's like a hard cover where you could like display it on your shelf. In the front, it shows Mark, and then in the background, it shows Omni-Man. So this was literally inspired by the Invincible Library Edition Volume 1 cover. So I really love this look of one here on the back and the front, in the forefront, but then the other character facing the other way, opposite way. But like when you turn it, you could see the other half. So I thought that was really dope.
Awesome. Okay, you guys heard it here first. What's going on, Crypto? Thank you for joining. My name's Amika. We got Ivan Leal here, the writer and creator of Ghost Reaper. His Kickstarter is now live. It just went live yesterday, and I just wanted to do an interview to bring some awareness, try and get some people on it. So I actually want to see now if we can. You guys will have to excuse me. So let me remove this here, show our beautiful faces, and see if I can. Let's see if. All right, I can share my screen. Let me do this here.
You got some good pictures so far, man. Thanks for showing each one to kind of give a little bit more context for each one. I think the people really appreciate it.
Definitely, of course, man. All right, so we're probably going to disappear, but it's easiest with the monitors. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have that at the moment. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, actually, here. Maybe I can choose specifically what to share. That's actually really cool. Perfect. All right, nice. I don't have to actually show the whole screen. All right, so here we go, everyone. We are on Kickstarter right here. So this is Ivan Leal's Kickstarter, Ghost Reaper. And then if you can give us the publisher's name as well.
Yes. So his name is Mason. He's the publisher for Alpha Comics. I was very blessed. Shout out to Thomas Redsky. He's the writer for Stride. He was basically the man that introduced me to Mason, and from there we kind of gave him a pitch, something to work with, and he was sold on it, and he decided to take a chance on me, which is something I'm very blessed and thankful for. And he's the one that's really doing the heavy lifting for me in this. He's helped me promote it, and I couldn't even begin to explain how thankful I am for Thomas and Mason. They've helped me a lot, and without them, I wouldn't be here. So this is the Kickstarter. You got the beautiful picture of Ghost Reaper right here. Chapter 1 is called Devil's Advocate. That's the one. That was a really quick, catchy name, something simple, but something that draws your attention. So I think it looks pretty fire.
I think this looks great. Yeah, I mean, we just looked at the full body picture of this one. This is a great high definition picture. Looks awesome here. Definitely cannot wait for this to come out.
Appreciate it.
So let's go ahead and let's go through it here. I don't want to be one of those people who just like reads, everything to the viewers. So I'm going to just scroll down slowly and then let those who want to check it out. Or you guys can go ahead and check it out yourselves at Kickstarter and look up Ghost Reaper issue 1. Go ahead. You guys, you know what? I'm not going to even go slow. I'm going to go fast so that everybody's like, wait, but I wanted to read that.
That way you have to enter the Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah. If you want to read it, go ahead and head to the Kickstarter. There we go.
There you go.
All right. Okay, we got some sample pages here. So I want to ask if we can know what's going on here. I'm going to assume that it's going to be a bit of a spoiler.
So, I could say a little bit. So, like I said, his name is Scott Graves, by the way. I don't know if I even mentioned that yet. His identity is Scott Graves. I kind of wanted originally his name was to be Mark Knight, but then at that time I didn't know Moon Knight yet, so that kind of conflicted because of Mark Spector, Moon Knight.
Yeah. Okay.
So I thought Scott Graves was a good alternate name because Graves, Graveyard, Grim Reaper, you kind of see like the how it goes hand in hand together. So his name is Scott Graves. This is him in his prototype suit, and this is basically him in one of his heists. So like I said, he's trying to find any way to leave Phantom City, and he has to do some bad things. And along the way, he uncovers something that looks very mysterious, and he basically becomes intrigued by it and decides to take a look for it for himself.
Dope. All right, let's see this next page here. Well, I like this one a lot.
The big bad.
Okay, what can you tell us about this one without spoiling? If you can.
You're good. I can give more context here. So this is going to be the main primary villain of the series. His name is, or the story arc. His name is Mickey James. He is a Irish gangster who owns the mafia, or is the leader of the mafia, called. Should want to say all that? He's the leader of the Irish mafia. Yeah. Okay. This scene was very much inspired by The Godfather, the opening scene of The Godfather, when he's like petting his cat in the beginning and basically doing business before the wedding. This is kind of like the same thing here. He's talking to his associate about just different things that they're experiencing within the gang. And this character, the Leprechaun, was inspired by the Penguin. So I wanted a mafia type gangster character, but I wanted him with a gimmick as well. Like the Penguin is like the gimmick of a penguin, of a bird. I wanted the Leprechaun to be of an Irish gangster, and that's why they call him the Leprechaun in the streets, but his real name is Mickey James.
Okay, all right, I'm liking this. Ooh, I like man, something for me. I mean, I love finished pages, but I don't know what it is. Inked pages without the coloring yet, it looks great to me.
Adds mystery too. You want more context, like, wait, what's going on here?
Exactly. So what can you tell us about this? I'm going to assume this item here, if I can make this assumption, is related to this thing here. Am I
Potentially,
correct with
possibly.
that? Okay. Oh man, I'm almost like near spoiling with it. Okay, all right.
No, man.
If you can explain this page, can you? If not, then maybe we can kind of go over what the
So that's
process
one of the
is.
art. That's one of the artifacts that he stole from the gangster,
Okay.
and he's starting to see that it's not just any ordinary artifact. That's all I could say about that.
All right. Perfect. Okay. I like it. And then this is him here. Oops. All right. I'm assuming this is his house or
Yeah, it's an abandoned house.
wow.
So I wanted him to be kind of grungy and grimy, kind of dirty. So as you can
Okay.
see, like he like I said, I didn't want him to be stereotypical. So he's not your square jawed Superman by any means. He's like a very grimy, nasty, grungy character in the beginning.
Okay. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually really cool.
Homeboy is not innocent by any means. I'll just say that.
All right, now let's get into character. So this right here, this is Scott Graves. This is Scott Graves' color. Okay. All right, I like this. Cool, cool. This is him in the suit.
Prototypes too. Yeah.
Okay, okay. This is him all right, as Ghost Reaper. All right. Ooh, okay, okay. Mickey James, the Leprechaun. All right. I like that. Looks very cool. Okay, then we've got Malik. All right, the Reaper. Nice, nice.
So
And
nice
then,
and quick,
okay.
crazy.
Oh no, this is very cool. I mean, again, this is your first one, and so far this is really cool. I love the sample pages too. This is cool.
And just so you know, guys, because we're still the comic book is still being made, so actually the Kickstarter will be updated with more pictures and videos soon. Like I said, it's barely the first day, but I will be adding more things to add more context soon. So I want to
Nice.
add like a trailer eventually and pictures. So just stay tuned, y'all. So you're in for a treat. I'm doing this during
Nice.
Halloween season. I'm doing this during Halloween season because I feel like Grim Reaper, the skeleton, blah blah blah. It goes hand in hand with the
Yeah.
Halloween gimmick. So I thought October was the perfect time to start the Kickstarter campaign.
100%. I think this is
For the
great.
holidays, yeah, with Halloween.
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's get them pushed. We're at it says a percent. But we're at $565 out of 1,500. I think that's a pretty good start. 28 days more to go. But let's go ahead, everybody who's watching and your family members, friends, whatever. Let's go ahead and let's get this to 100% funded, like ASAP. This is some great content, and as he said, there's still a lot more to go. So I think we should definitely be. Oh yeah, there you go. There's my pledge. We should definitely be going pushing this further. So yeah, this is great. I like this a lot. Can we probably go through what?
Yeah, of course. Just let them know what they're getting.
Yes. All right. So we got. Man, yeah, I had to get this cover. I love this right here. Actually, you can see it says your selection. Does it continue to show? Okay, yeah, all right. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't just stopping. All right, so looks like we got issue 1 cover C. Love this. So who was the artist for this? Can you tell?
His name is Erwin Arrosa. Yeah, he's a very talented artist. He draws for Primate. Very talented. That's how I discovered him. Primate.
Yes.
He recommended me. I asked him who he was because I was very intrigued by his art. It's almost kind of like a grimy. It's like a grimier version of Alex Ross. Like it's realistic, but it's more like it's like darker. You know what I mean? And I really thought it was like a good look for Ghost Reaper for sure. It's just darker. It feels more like horrifying, more like just raw. You know what I'm saying? So
I like this a lot. This looks great. So can you tell me, is this going to be a virgin cover, or are we going to see the stamps on here? I think this would be a great virgin cover.
Yeah, I'm still debating on that. This one's more of a realistic style. I'll probably talk it over with my publisher to see what will look best for this one. If it will just be plain like this, or if it'll have the logo. But we'll see. We'll probably experiment. We'll like have the thing published on it just to see how it looks, and if not, we'll just leave it like that because that is a very clean cover. But we'll see. I don't want to speak too soon just yet.
All right. Hey, Michaela, how's it going? Thank you for joining and watching. We're just going over the Kickstarter for Ivan Leal's first comic book here, Ghost Reaper. We're just looking through the rewards right now. Just that I kind of want to change it up with the content I provide and do some interviews with other indie creators. And so we have the digital copy here. I mean, 32 pages for issue 1. Come on, guys. Like that alone. Like, what are we doing? Come on, hurry up. Let's go. Let's get this thing funded. We got cover A. All right. So I have a question for you.
Yes.
This is coming from another creator with like, different covers and cover variants. So first question is the artist who did, let me read first. No, it is not. Okay. Now, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but did you ever feel during, you putting the Kickstarter together that you wanted to go with maybe like cover B as the main cover? I had that issue when I was doing it, and I want to know, did you have that same like, oh man, I love this cover a lot more sort of thing? How did you go about that?
So I knew that I wanted to I wanted the artists to, because Gabriel and Johan, they're the primary artists for the comic book. I had promised them when we agreed on a business settlement that I would also have them make the cover, and that will be the primary cover. And I feel like they deserve it because they've worked so hard for it. And I think it's a great cover. And it's funny because it's funny because each cover is great. One thing I like about each cover, it has its own unique style. This one's kind of more traditional comic booky, or kind of like this one's kind of more of like a newer generation, like with the colors and stuff. The second one is more of a traditional comic book, and then the third one is more realistic. So they each have their own styles, but I thought the fan favorite was going to be the B cover just because it shows two sides, the front and the back. But it seems like so far, the one that has gotten the most buzz is actually the first one. So I was like, okay, I mean, hey, So yeah, I mean, I love each cover. They all have their own unique styles for different people that have different preferences. If you like more realistic stuff, cover C is your book. If you like more of a traditional comic book, I would probably say B. And if you would want more of the newer, like kind of like the new school style of comic books, I would probably say cover A is the best one. So they all have their own unique covers, but I feel like they only deserve for the primary artist to be the primary cover.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I did the same exact thing, which is funny because he did cover the artist who I have to, the interior art as well, did cover A and B. And when he did cover B, I was like, damn, I don't know if I want to change this and make this cover A and then make the original cover.
Yeah, you start to second guess things once you like see it like come into fruition.
After the fact, I was like, oh man. But I mean, this looks great. I think I got this cover in covers. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, they're all great choices, man. I love all of them.
Yeah, definitely. And then, all right, we got a tier which comes with the emblem T and cover A physical copy. Awesome. And then I really liked this choice here. I thought this was really cool. Getting the Phantom Mask Ultimate Bundle. It looks like you get the prototype mask, the proto costume mask, along with the cover B and physical and the poster.
Yes.
This cool cover. This is really cool. Okay, so this is where you were talking about how you said you made this into a poster.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Appreciate it, brother.
Man, this looks good. I like this a lot. This is good right here. Man, we're going to have to maybe do like a crossover or something, man. Get Vibrant in this world, get Ghost Reaper and Vibrant.
Oh, man, I'm all for it, man. Like any, it'd be an honor and privilege to work with anybody, really. I mean, I never thought, if you would have asked me 5 years ago when I first started this, if I would have been talking to anybody about this project, I would have thought you were crazy. It just seems so out of my depth, out of my reach. You know what I'm saying? I never thought I would ever be here. And I quit for a while too. I quit for 2 years before coming back and, kind of having that itch again to finish what I started. So I'm very honored just to even be here, bro. So I'm very thankful.
I have to ask, what you said you stopped for 2 years. What pushed you to choose to stop and then force to come back?
So when I first started, at the time it was called Saint. At that time, I was brand new. I didn't have any experience writing comic books or stories. I was just very green. I didn't have any experience at all. And the way I even wrote the scripts, it was more like a movie script. It wasn't even like tailor-made for a comic book. It was it was just like, it was very long. It was just a mess. 2 years, I did get a little bit better, just going over and over repetition, but it wasn't really going anywhere. And you could imagine 2 years after not seeing too much progress, it's going to eventually kind of mess with your confidence a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like mess with your mentality and just think like, am I really made for this? You know what I'm saying? So then I quit, bro. And Another reason why I quit too was actually because this is the time that I was going to start college, like my last 2 years to get my bachelor's degree. So I thought to myself, bro, I wasn't even going to have time to be working on this anymore because I knew I was going to be occupied with school and work. So I was like, you know what, man, it's just not meant to be. Like I put it to bed. I thought I put it to bed. I accepted it, and I just thought, there's some things in this life that isn't made to be, and I was okay with it at that time. And during that 2 years, I did miss it. I did kind of just wonder what would have happened if I would have kept going.
Mhm.
And I think what really gave me that itch back was just being away from it so long, but ultimately watching Invincible, bro. Invincible is what helped me get that itch back. Once that series came out, the cartoon of Invincible is something I had never seen before. Like it's perfection to me. I got more entertainment watching that than Batman the Animated Series. Like that's how good to me Invincible is.
Oof.
And that's
Okay.
a big statement. So
Yeah.
it's a big
I mean,
statement.
yeah, granted, they definitely are their own versions of what they are. Batman the Animated Series is something that is like the first of its time when, like that theme song comes on and you're a kid and like on Saturday morning, you see that thing come on and it's like, oh, gotta go watch.
Yeah.
But with Invincible, we're all older now. We're all mature.
It's just I never had that same feeling since I was a kid, and Invincible really brought it back. It's just, and I think because I'm older now too, I like things that are more mature, more dark, more adult oriented.
Yes.
And that is exactly what Invincible is. I got that same feeling with The Boys too, but I think Invincible is what really hit it home.
Yeah.
In my opinion, just the way I feel, like I would if I had to watch out of the two, I would probably choose Invincible or the Batman the Animated Series. When I first saw Mark fight Omni-Man, and then once he fought Conquest, I was like, I don't know if you can top that, bro. The storytelling, the choreography, the fight scenes, it's just perfection, bro.
It really, really well done for sure. And I think what Invincible kind of did that The Boys doesn't quite do, or even Batman did, is granted the Batman animated series had deep, dark moods and tones and just plots that it covered. But I think with Invincible, it covers things that are a bit more real. And by that I mean like city destruction. How many movies and comics and whatever do we see where that's happening?
And people dying graphically.
Exactly. I mean, I think maybe one of the other things. Exactly. Yeah. One of the other things I feel like that really addressed that was every movie in the DC universe after Man of Steel.
Yeah.
They were talking about how all of the destruction from that fight, this, that, and the other, and how that kind of affected all these different lives. And that's what Invincible really covers, and I like that a lot. And if you're a comic book fan of Invincible too, you really kind of see how it strays from the comic. And I kind of like how they do that with, this kind of emphasis on all of the lives that this one hero who fought his own father, right? And got beat pretty bad, not even pretty, really bad, to save the Earth. And then they're just like, oh, dude, you're the reason why my life's set. Right?
Yeah. Bro.
So it's just like that. It's the different things that they cover, I think, in Invincible that really stick out, and I think that make it that type of show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Just Invincibles, it's a masterpiece to me. I have to thank Robert Kirkman actually for that too, because if it wasn't for the show, I don't know if I would have ever gone back to Ghost Reaper. And when I came back after watching Invincible, I knew that I was gonna have to be on my P's and Q's. Like I knew I was gonna have to change it up because, like I said before, what I was doing previously wasn't working. It didn't have that magic sauce, so I knew I was gonna have to come up with something different. And I had a mission. I was gonna make a statement, and I knew the first thing I was gonna have to do is I was gonna have to reinvent the character. Period. With what I was when I was trying to go for was like a dark, gritty character. I actually changed his look before I even changed the name. So I gave him like a cloak and everything like that. And okay, like now we're getting something there. Now I see it with this character. And then from there, I decided to change it to Ghost Reaper because the city where it resides in is Phantom City. And there was already a Grim Reaper present in the story prior. So it was just like a no-brainer to combine the two. Once I came up with the name and the look, I feel like everything else came organically. And that's, I'm very blessed. It's funny because I wrote like the blueprint of the script. Obviously, it's been polished a lot since then. But I actually wrote the basic blueprint of the script at my job, at my retail job. You would have thought like after listening to music or watching a movie, I'd be like, oh man, I'm so inspired. Like I'm gonna go in my basement, do an all-nighter and write my script. But nah, it was literally just at work, me writing the blueprint of the script. And that's how it came, that's how it came to be today from that blueprint. So
That
it's just
sounds
funny,
very
bro. Wow.
similar to my. Yes, very, very funny. And it sounds kind of similar to what I had done too. And I remember I would actually write more on my lunch breaks at my previous job than I would at home. So I'd be like, I went on Spotify, I downloaded like all these different like movie scores, TV scores, all this stuff.
Yeah,
Just like
exactly.
writing. And then I would go on a walk. And as I'm walking, these ideas would pop in my head. Oh, okay, this character, this story can go this way, and then just keep writing it and write the blueprint really. And of course, refining it and all that. But yeah,
it's just funny, bro, because like you would think that you would probably get the most inspiration after watching a movie or listening to a song or just doing a writer. But it's just crazy. I failed so many times continuously, back to back to back for years, and just to think that the light bulb finally came out of my head at my job, like the most random time. I couldn't have been more out of the blue. Like just for whatever reason, it clicked this particular time out of all times. Like it couldn't have been more random. For some reason, my brain was just like finally functioning the way it was supposed to function that day. And from there, I knew I had something. Like I just had a different feeling. Once I came up with that script, I knew that this one was like, this was going to be the one. And I had told myself that before with other scripts too. Like, all right, this is gonna be the one. But this one was just different. I don't know. Like I feel like I finally felt in my gut, this is going to be the one that I'm going to be able to take to the next level. And then I knew it because then as soon as I showed it to my editor, Thomas Retzky, the writer of Stride, he was like, okay, yeah, now we're on to something. And that's where everything had started, man. So, yeah, man, it's just crazy. It's a trip how life works sometimes, man. When you least expect it, sometimes when you achieve greatness. So, you never know.
That's true. Yeah, I 100% agree. That's really cool. Well, I liked it. Okay, awesome. That's great. Now I just want to ask about the future of Ghost Reaper. What do you have planned? What is something what can you tell us? How many arcs do you have? How many issues do you have planned?
So I plan to do 3 story arcs. How much do I want to reveal? So I will say this: Ghost Reaper is in the Alpha universe. So eventually, at some point, I would like to introduce him in meeting with the primary character, the flagship character, Cardinal. Cardinal is the primary flagship character of Alpha. We're still trying to figure out how we could intertwine them, but I am planning to do 3 story arcs. In a perfect world, I would like to do 6 issues for each story arc, but I can't guarantee it. But 6 would be like a perfect number for me. I would like to do 3 story arcs. So the first one, introducing everything. The second one is once he's finally getting comfortable with his powers. And by the third one is like the big grand finale. So in a perfect world, 3 story arcs, 6 issues for each story arc, but we'll see. That's all I can say right now.
All right. Okay. Got it. Interesting. Okay. Now, if you were given the chance to go further than just comics, what would you want to do?
Sorry, say that one more time.
I said, if there was another medium that you could go into with this comic, what would you do and why?
Probably like a TV series or a movie, bro, because there's just a lot of potential to be explored. I mean, I think that's everybody's dream at the end of the day is, honestly, bro, I think just the comic book being released is something I never thought would be possible. So I would just be happy with that. But I mean, the way I see it, once the comic already comes out and, depending on how people react to it, like I just like, I'm already at peace with myself where I won. Like I did enough to be able to bring the comic book into fruition. Basically anything I achieve above that is a bonus. But I'm just very thankful to even get the comic book released because it seemed like it was so far fetched. I never thought I would ever going to be releasing it, So The short answer is, in an ideal world, probably like a movie. But right now, I'm just like, I'm happy to even be releasing it, period, because I never thought it would ever come into fruition. So yeah, man, I'm just happy right now. I'm trying to enjoy the ride for what it is right now. I'm not even trying to get too far deep, I'm just trying to enjoy the process right now. And that's what everybody told me, just enjoy it right now, because this is like 5 years is a long time, man. 5 years is a very long time to be thinking about this and for it to finally come out. I'm just trying to enjoy. I'm not taking it for granted. I'm trying to enjoy the ride, so.
That's good. No, I think that's great. And I mean, it definitely. I think I can kind of speak from experience. Once you kind of start aiming a little bit further, being still at the step that you're at, and this is, I'm not saying you right, but like you in general, aiming higher when you're still kind of like at issue one, and then you start to think other people where it's like, they got this going, they got, animation pitch ready or whatever the case may be. It definitely does become a bit humbling and disheartening. So
I
for
got
sure,
bigger.
staying in that, in the present or present, with the, where you're at with the comic book, it looks like you're getting the trajectory is going to get that thing funded for sure.
Hopefully,
I
man.
strongly.
Hopefully. We'll see.
Nah, I'm not even hoping. I'm knowing for sure.
I
It'll
appreciate
get
it, man.
funded.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, bro. I'm just very blessed and thankful, and I had so much help along the way. I want to thank you and Mika. I want to thank Mason, Thomas, Mike Otis, JRD Comics. I mean, the writer of Saint, Jesse, writer of Burlap. I mean, there's so many people that have helped me along the way, but when they easily could have just like not even given me the time of day. So I'm just very blessed and thankful that they were able to take their time to help me. So everybody played a contributing factor into this, man, for sure.
well, I'm glad. That's one thing I've learned about this community is I think you definitely have the ones who are a bit negative, and you definitely, for the most part, this community though is a caring, genuine, helpful community, and that's what I really appreciate about the
For sure,
comics
man.
world. It's the support, because like you were saying, it's easy for people to just shrug you off and be like, you're not worth the time of day. But
Yeah.
to be able to still receive that at the end of the day is such a blessing for sure.
Yeah, man. It's funny because people say like there's gonna be the haters out there too. Knock on wood, I haven't experienced that
There
yet,
will
but
be.
I know it'll eventually come. I'm still kind of waiting to see when it'll come and like how I'll react to it. But I mean, I was already told like just if people are hating, then you're doing something right, basically, because you're
Yes,
able to ignite a reaction out of them. It's when they don't react that's that you should be concerned with. So,
Yes, exactly. That's what, and I'll admit for myself, it's been hard to really reassure myself with that, because I've had, on like social media, whatever, where I'm posting art that looks great, where a bunch of people are like, "Oh, this is great! Oh, I love these characters, this and that." And you got like the one guy who's like, "This is ass! Like, what are you posting?" And then what's really funny is like, of course, you appreciate the ones where they're complimenting your art and
yeah,
characters and all that. But for whatever reason, the one that really sticks out is the person who says, "Oh man, this is ass."
yeah,
And
man.
for me, I think the way that I handle online trolls to Vibrant and comic and everything is, I typically just respond with an emoji being like, "Hey, thanks, cool." Because you're right, like the fact that they did actually go out of their way to comment,
Exactly to
brag,
comment.
get on it, exactly. They could have easily kept skipping, going through, and not even done anything. But the fact that they actually felt the need to do and say something, I'm like, all right, maybe maybe I'm doing something.
Yeah.
But trust me, yeah, you will get the haters, because I
No,
think you
I
got
know.
something great.
I'm just
It's
waiting
going
for
to
the
be a
day.
lot of people.
I'm sure.
It'll come, I'm sure. I'm sure once. Yeah.
You got to think of it this way too. This is kind of what gives me comfort too when people like talk shit. There's thousands of characters that have been made, bro. So there's not going to be something you come up with that's 100% authentic. There's going to be something along the way. It's inevitable. So the best thing that you could do is just kind of add your own twist to it, make it unique, while still inspiring while still embracing the similarities between the other characters that you could draw similarities from. So
Yeah, definitely.
for sure, man.
It's great. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I think we've been on this long enough. Unless you got some time, we'll probably talk about some nerd stuff. But it is a Saturday night. I'm assuming everybody's getting ready to go to the club if they're not already there.
Party.
Yeah. That's how most people spend their Saturdays. Me, I'm going to be slumming it up, being lazy here. But yeah, anything else you want to kind of bring up about Ghost Reaper, your comic yourself, even what people can, because you gotta. That's one thing I've noticed is you can't just sell your comic, you got to sell yourself. So what's something you could tell us about yourself to kind of end this, close us out?
So with me, one thing that I want to stand out for me from other people is that by the time you're done reading and you put the book down on the desk, I want you to really be able to think about, damn, like really summarize what went down and ask yourself, like in a very, you could kind of see both perspectives of the villain and the hero, and you're kind of like deciding which one is truly like the one that's in the right. Kind of like a philosophical feeling I want you to feel by the time you're done reading the comic book. Like, was it, like I said, was it really all worth it? Maybe you got all this power, but at what cost? At what sacrifice? At what consequence? That's what I really want people to think about by the time this comic book is finished. Is basically leave it up to the reader, because I think I think the best books are always the one that leave it up to the reader to decide. Kind of like Watchmen, it leaves it kind of like an ambiguous ending where it kind of leaves it up to the reader to decide. That's kind of what I want to do. So I would say that. Obviously, very beautiful art, beautiful action scenes, very dark. So if you guys like Batman, if you guys like The Punisher, if you guys like Watchmen, The Boys, then this is the comic book for you. And I will promise that, you know, it will definitely give a reaction out of you at some point. So good, bad, that's up to you. But I'm sure it won't just be a mediocre comic book. That I can assure you. It'll definitely bring something out of you.
Dope. All right. Well, y'all heard it here first. Thank you very much, Ivan, for your time, for sharing about yourself and your comic and your story, both in writing and in life. But yeah, I think this is a great part to close us out. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. Thank you, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I would say please expect more of these. My goal is to start getting some sort of, you know, video, streaming, or whatever, recording sort of content out as well, and just spitting out some more of myself, my story, and other people's story like me. So, all right. Hope you all have a good night.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Amika.